Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, kindly permit me to stand on the existing protocol and to say that I'm honored to be here on this auspicious occasion of the 67th anniversary of the celebration of the United Nations Day. Since 1948, when the first UN Day was observed, October 24, the anniversary of the Charter of the United Nations, is an annual opportunity for peoples of the world to take stock of not just the aims and objectives of the United Nations and its work, but also to assess how the actions or inactions of nations, communities, and individuals impact on our collective ideals and principles for global development and peace. The media, as the medium for sharing information about world events and occurrences, is by all standards critical and germane to the achievement of this task. As a Nigerian, I will not hold brief for the world's multitude of media establishments. I can only draw from the pool of my 2.5 decades of experience in international media practice. A cursory look at the stories that are featured in daily news reportage reveals a plethora of conflicts and strife, as has been mentioned earlier today, not just in Nigeria, but all around the world. While I'll be the first to admit that the media is obligated to report all events, even wars, I am constantly perturbed by the quantum of stories about violence, wars, and sensational news when compared against featured news about peace building or peace promotion efforts. This trend leads me to wonder, is the media reporting in a manner that escalates conflicts or builds and promotes peace? As we all know, history tells us that the first time the word Islamist terrorists came up, it was a shock to many people, especially in the Muslim world. Yet, because it is something that contradicts the term and the principle of Islam, yet that's what we call them, Islamist terrorists. Mr. Bandel, I think Rabbi Bandel, elucidated on some of these facts when he was talking earlier. And he says that it is those who profess to have God with them that will never stop. So they use the name of religions to propagate their woes. My second question that keeps bothering my mind is the world witnessing a paradigm shift in journalistic practice away from the core principles of cohesive developmental journalism and the promotion of peaceful coexistence? Is the concept of peace journalism now obsolete? And how sustainable is our world for this generation and future generations without peace? I think Dr. Kraft, when he was speaking earlier, and Madam Gandhi beside me here, have alluded to a need to rethink the ethics of journalism practice as we know it today. These are fundamental issues that the media must address if we are to reinvigorate the concept of building and promoting peace, not just for our immediate benefit, but for generations to come. At a recent peace conference in my home country, Nigeria, particularly in Yola, Adamawa State, one of the areas that is currently under some problems because of the Boko Haram militancy. That's in the northeast of Nigeria. Participants were in consensus at the urgent need for the media, irrespective of ownership, to win itself from the ideology and perception of rivalry and conflict as their proverbial hot cake, what they take as the most important story of the day. The conference noted that since abnormalities were essential ingredients for news selection, the media has a duty to shift global viewpoints away from politics-induced sensational propaganda to news content that demand for a leadership that gets priorities straight, policies right, and investments working for people, as advocated by the UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon at the 69th UN General Assembly. Once again, I think the fact remains that for all of us who practice the journalism profession, the media must, as a matter of urgency, continue to nurture the seeds of hope, reinvigorate the ethics and principles of journalistic practice by speaking out against the spiraling violence and conflicts that are afflicting our world. so that we can collectively attain the peace that continues to remain a mirage. It is in this regard that I humbly urge governments and entrepreneurs to invest in resources and infrastructure for the media, as well as improve on the freedoms and current welfare of journalists to effectively execute their mandate. For us in the media, we can and must rededicate ourselves and redouble efforts to engender peace in our world. After all, peace has no color, no creed, no race, no religious or political shade. We all stand to benefit from a world where peace reigns. And to assure Professor Tariq Ramadan, who spoke much earlier, we may be few and maybe even very infinitesimal in number, but more and more journalists I know and are working with and know from other countries of the world are continuing to tell stories that not just tell what is happening right now, but are trying in their little ways to set agendas for nations and leaders of the world. Our impact is small, yes, but our resolve is unwavering. I thank you for your attention and wish everyone a peaceful and fruitful day.